Duel for Supremacy. Sign of things to come. Something sinister caused the horseman to turn his head as he cantered past a clump of trees on the edge of the forest, familiar to him since childhood. Prince Somrit knew that a crevice lay behind those trees. A flash of black and grey, tinged with red, had caught his eye at the bottom, a flash through a gap in the sunlit branches, and the abundance of undergrowth that all year round covered the giant footprint deep in the ground. The flash wasn't alone in arresting him. His nostrils had detected an unpleasant odour drifting through the air. "Whoa, slow down, my girl," commanded the young prince quietly. The filly slowed to a trot. Horse and rider knew each other so well that only the gentlest tug on the reins was needed to turn her head, then her body. The pair retraced their tracks to the gap. Somrit, having slid silently from the well-worn saddle, patted the horse's neck twice to reassure her. Then, fist close to the handle of his sheathed sword, he stepped cautiously towards the crevice. No need to tether his horse. Her instinct kept her as still as a statue, allowing her master to probe whatever danger lurked nearby. Pushing aside the hanging creepers blocking his view, Somrit edged through the gap, edging downwards, careful of the stones that littered the dangerously steep slope. Agile as he was, even a slight slip would likely cause him to tumble all the way to the bottom with at the very least a badly twisted ankle, possibly a broken leg, or even something far worse. The odour grew stronger. He stopped and peered through the undergrowth. All was quiet as a tomb. A scream from above made him duck violently. Protecting his uncovered head with his right arm, he pulled his sword from its scabbard at lightning speed with the other. Balancing precariously on the slope, he jerked the blade upwards, his face set to its most aggressive. The screaming ceased, turning to a mocking hoot as a macaque baring its hideous teeth clutched a branch above him before swinging off through the forest. Somrit's grimace turned to a smile as he watched the monkey vanish through the trees. Then, above the highest foliage, he spotted a black presence in the sky, somehow stationary yet fluttering. The flutterer became 2, then 3, then a host of flutterers slowly circling, slowly descending towards him, it seemed. Vultures. Their presence meant death, as did the odour so strong now that his nose involuntarily wrinkled. Somrit hacked away at the thick fronds obstructing his view, several crashing down together. Then he saw it. A huge buffalo, sprawled stiff on its back, 3 rigid legs pointing upwards, the 4th lying flat at an ungainly angle to the beast's split-open stomach. The buffalo must have lost its footing at the top of the crevice and crashed onto the rocks below. The prince stared until the first vulture landed with a swish, hopping clumsily towards its feast. Hearing his horse whinny high above him, he turned and, using his sword as a staff, levered himself up the perilous slope back to the path. Reaching the filly, he spoke to her as if she were human, which he often did. "Today should be a joyous day, my girl," he said without much joy. Then, dropping his voice, he murmured, "But I sense shadows approaching, and our lives darkening." Somrit sheathed his sword and swung up onto the saddle. Before turning the horse round, he looked back through the gap in the creepers to where the vultures, now a gang, pecked at the buffalo's carcass, flesh already in strips. "You're lucky, my girl," he muttered, "that you don't know all life comes to an end, sooner or later." His reply was a muffled snort. Then quietly he said, "Only men know that." Somrit pulled on the reins, reeling his horse round. She sensed his desire and trotted off along the path leading towards the forest edge. As he urged her back into a canter, he shouted up at the trees, "None of us ever know when our lives will end, or how." Soon, rider and horse had passed from the cool of the forest onto the plain leading to Kouprey Palace. Today, Kouprey, a small kingdom of several kingdoms tucked away in a corner of Asia, was due to celebrate the 50th year of the reign of King Chorm, Somrit's father. A wise and just leader, Chorm had kept his land at peace for as long as most of his subjects could remember, and that, despite the continual hostility of neighbouring kingdoms, all envying Kouprey's prosperity. Prince Somrit's canter became a gallop, his long hair billowing behind him. Still troubled by the image of the dead buffalo, he urged his filly faster and faster towards the turrets of Kouprey Palace, shimmering through the haze.